Have you ever wondered how well you know your beloved childhood characters? How well do you know their background? Are you aware of what hides behind the scenes? It has been more than 50 years since our favorite TV specials like A Charlie Brown's Christmas, Frosty the Snowman, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer appeared on our TVs. And we can't imagine that there could be something really shocking behind these TV specials. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Take 5 channel. In today's episode, we're going to reveal the details you didn't know about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Grinch. Stay till the end to know which one has the most shocking background. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And we start off with the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer TV special that premiered on NBC in 1964 and has run every year since, making it a family tradition. Of course, you watched this special as a kid, or watched it with your siblings, children, and so on like a million times. Since Christmas is coming and you are definitely going to be falling back on the sofa again to review it, we want to tell you a few facts that you simply must know about this deer. Number 5. Rudolph was created for a department store. This is incredible, but back in the 1930s, people were already so into advertising. If you thought that all these characters for stores and diners was a thing only in the 1950s and so on, you are so wrong. In 1939, the Montgomery Ward department store decided they needed a character for the freebie coloring books they were handing out to kids who visited Santa. And of course, that character ended up being Rudolph, who immediately became super popular among kids. It sounds crazy, but Montgomery Ward gave out 2.4 million copies of the Rudolph booklet in the first year alone. Number 4. Rudolph was an international production. Produced in the 1960s, the story about a cute reindeer turned out to be a really huge and international project. Originally, the story was written in the US, produced by Rankin and Bass, and voice acted in Toronto. Well, the voice acting in Canada makes a lot of sense since the special took place at the North Pole. Speaking of the stop-motion animation, it was produced in Japan. If you were wondering how much time it took to produce the whole special, you'll be surprised to know that in total, it took 18 months. Kinda staggering amount of time for TV specials in the 1960s, right? Number 3. Rudolph is smaller than you think. We all know the way animated movies are filmed, but it is still difficult to imagine that all the puppets were so tiny. The puppet used for Rudolph is only 4 inches tall. Santa, for instance, stands twice as tall at 8 inches, but the tallest one is Bumble's puppet, measuring a whopping 14 inches tall. Number 2. The writer who created Rudolph was grieving the loss of his wife. Did you know what actually stands behind this Christmas story? Robert May was a copywriter for Montgomery Ward's mail order catalog division, and he had to write the entire story and create a Rudolph character for the coloring book. The writer started the process in early 1939, but sadly his wife died from cancer that summer, leaving him a widower with a 4-year-old daughter. Even though his boss wanted to reassign the project, Robert May insisted on finishing it himself. "I needed Rudolph more than ever," he later admitted. The writer completed the entire story in August, and Montgomery Ward handed the copyrights over to a financially struggling May in 1947. This tale even has prehistory saturated with goodness and empathy. Maybe this is one of the reasons why, more than 50 years later, it still warms our souls and creates a family Christmas comfort. Number 1. Rudolph has a son named Robbie. Well, we can't say this for sure, but this is at least what BBC claims. For those who don't know, BBC developed these cartoons based on Rudolph's offspring. Interestingly, the name of Robbie's famous dad is never actually mentioned. First, you may think that this is due to the unique plot story. The story tells us that the villain of the series, Blitzen, can't stand to hear Rudolph's name. But the real reason might be that the BBC couldn't get permission to use it or didn't want to pay to use it. Want some more videos with crazy facts about your favorite movies and TV specials? don't forget to hit that subscribe button. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I am pretty sure you didn't know some of those facts about Rudolph, and now this is the Grinch's time. So let's check your knowledge about the next TV special, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Let me know how many facts you didn't know about this green monster in the comments section down below. Number 5. The Grinch didn't originally look like that. So the very first fact that surprises 97% of people is that initially the Grinch looked different. There are 3 existing film adaptations of the Grinch so far, as well as the animated series, and each of them features Grinch as a green-colored creature. Interestingly, Dr. Seuss's original character is white, black, and red with pink spots. So why is the Grinch green? The Grinch's green first appeared in this color for the 1966 Christmas special, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, at the request of director Chuck Jones, creator of Bugs Bunny and Wile E. Coyote. This shade was chosen for 2 main reasons. The first one, for creative and technical reasons, and the second one, it reminded the filmmaker of the cars parked outside his office. The last one doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it made the Grinch look the way we all know him now. Number 4. The animated film exists because of World War II. When World War II started, Theodore Seuss Geisel, aka Dr. Seuss, joined the famous filmmaker Frank Capra's Signal Corps that made movies supporting the war effort. It was a game-changing year for Dr. Seuss, not only because he was introduced to the art of animation, but he also had befriended animator Chuck Jones. Their partnership became one of the most powerful ones, as thanks to the fact that Jones would eventually persuade Dr. Seuss to adapt The Grinch's Tale into an animated movie. With Jones personally helming the project, we can now call our favorite animated film about the Grinch. Number 3. The budget for the animated version was huge. Considering it was a 26-minute animated movie, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, it cost around $300,000 to make, 10 times the price of the average half-hour of animation at the time. A Charlie Brown Christmas, which came out a year earlier, cost $76,000. Number 2. Jim Carrey didn't like the characterization. Of course, you have seen the Grinch movie that features Jim Carrey. Everyone knows and loves this one. But did you know that to turn Jim Carrey into the Grinch took the characterization team about 3 hours of work? And after filming, they had to spend another hour removing all of that makeup. It sounds pretty crazy, right? It is rumored that the actor was so uncomfortable with the characterization that he even had to reach out to the military to teach him torture resistance techniques. Again, we don't know if it's trustworthy information, but we do know that Jim Carrey had to wear a bodysuit that was made out of spandex covered with hair and dyed green. Moreover, we do know that the actor used yellow contact lenses to match the character's eyes, but because it bothered him a lot, they had to make this modification through CGI. Jim Carrey spent a total of 92 days in Grinch garb and makeup. Number 1. The movie almost didn't happen. Coming back to Dr. Seuss and Chuck Jones, there's no secret that making a Christmas movie requires a certain level of sponsorship. And not only a Christmas movie, but every movie actually. So right after Dr. Seuss gave Chuck Jones his permission to make this movie using his story, he struggled to find businesses to support it. As we all know, finding a good sponsorship is a big deal that requires time and patience. And if Chuck wasn't patient enough, the production might never happen. However, eventually the Foundation for Commercial Banks was the organization that made the movie a reality in terms of finances and endorsed it through the process. So, which facts were shocking for you about Rudolph or the Grinch? Which one surprised you the most? Or maybe we missed something? Let us know in the comments section down below. If you are getting ready for the upcoming holidays, we highly recommend you take a look at our top 10 Christmas movies list. You have to be prepared for Christmas, right? After watching this episode, you will be 100% ready to create that cozy and warm atmosphere.